Good morning, everybody. How you doing? It's me, Paddy from Across the Shuck, and you're very welcome to the channel. And I said morning, and I think it's afternoon, but there we go. That's my life. I'm going to show you 10 of my modern slip joints. I'd asked this in yesterday's video if anybody would like to see them because I was showing a new one that I bought, which we'll also see here. But first of all, I want to get into slip joints. What is slip joints? There's all this being thrown about modern slip joints, modified. There's so many words. I have a very basic way of deciding what's a modern and what's a traditional slip joint. This is a modern slip joint. They come in various sizes, it can be up to a 6-inch blade. It doesn't really matter, but this one is a small one just for the purpose to show you. This is one of my probably most used little slip joints. And again, I'm going to put that prefix before it, modern slip joint. So what makes a modern slip joint? A modern slip joint to me, and this is not the law, this is just Paddy's version of it. A modern slip joint has got screwed construction. So it can never be a traditional, because traditional slip joints do not have, they have pinned construction. And that's it, that's as simple as I keep it. The other part of saying slip joint is that it is a slip joint. It slips from one to the next. There is no locking mechanism. It is kept there by the pressure on this back spring. You can see the back spring, and that's what gives this the pressure. This rises up to let the blade go down, and it flattens out to keep it stiff. And there's various different stiffnesses and whatever. Don't worry about that. Modern is just a screwed construction knife that has no lock other than the pressure of a back spring or a double detent. This is a traditional slip joint. It is all pin construction, so you can't take it apart unless you're going to unpin it and then repin it again, which is something you need to be fairly expert at to keep this in the way. But it's like the modern slip joint. It just, there's no lock. It is the friction, the strength of a back spring to keep it open and closed. So that's it. Really, really simple. That's what my version is of a slip joint. Whether it be a traditional, which is pin construction, or a modern slip joint, which is screwed construction. Keep it that simple and it works for me. I don't have to worry about all these other things. And they'll all come in different, as you're going to see now, and that's the nice part about this video. You're going to see exactly the different variations that can come in a modern slip joint. So that's that I do. This is the Rosecraft blades little slip joint. It costs about 20 odd pounds. An absolutely amazing little knife with a detent as good as any slip joint, modern or traditional. It is fantastic. Really useful, hard use little slip joint. So, and here's another one now, and this is probably one of the most popular modern modern slip joint that has been going for such a long time. This came with a locking version, but this was a hinge version of the Picar, and this is just basically a slip joint. There's no lock. It's just that back spring. Well, you can see that there. It's not even the back spring. It's on here. Yeah, it's just a little detented knife. Now, this is a fantastic knife because it's got a detent which can be weak, but when you've got a forward choil like this, it turns it into a really strong knife that's not going to go anywhere. Super little knife, very popular. Now this is an 8CR13. The Rosecraft, I believe, is in D2, but this is a super popular knife, and it's popular for a reason. It's so comfortable in hand. As a small knife, you can get plenty of work done with this little knife. So there we go. The next one is a brother knife. Now, I've just had this sent to me by brother. I can't find it in the UK. I can't find it anywhere at the minute that you can buy it. So it must just be coming. It must be another one that's coming. I got no details. It just got sent to me. This is in VG10. Let me just see. That's the number of it. The 1518. And in VG10 in white bone. But it's a modern because it's screwed construction. Now, they put a screw right in the middle of the shield, which I never understand why you'd want to do that. But it's done. It's there. Is it a good knife? Yes, a really good knife. And this little thing I have on my board, if anybody's ever noticed it, this is nearly the first thing I do when I get a slip joint to check whether it's UK legal. This is 3 inches. I sit my knife on there and I put it there, and this is over the 3 inches. But the blade itself, the cutting edge, is exactly 3 inches. And I mean exactly. This just creeps in. And it's up to you whether you want to choose that or not. It is perfectly legal, but that doesn't mean it wouldn't get confiscated if you're an 18-year-old boy carrying this out in the street. That's the laws over here. Stupid, I know. But when you get a brother, you get a knife that's really well made. The grinds are super. They come extremely sharp and they're cheap. They are cheap as chip. You got a half stop on it and listen to that snap back. So it's got a nice strong back spring. Super nice. The white bone has been dyed. It's nearly bleached. It's fantastic. You can see the sort of shaded areas, but it is beautiful white bone. And I would say this is going to cost between 30 and 40 pound. You know, if that, maybe not even be that dear. But I would say, you know, it's worth that. It's worth it. It's a super knife. And then the one that I showed yesterday. And now we're getting up into these are sort of, the very small one, the Rosecraft blade, I carry on me all the time. Plenty of time, I should say. The other two, yeah, maybe not so much, but they're nice blades to have. This is the new Spyderco I got. Well, it's new, but it is of the older shape, which is this drop point, which has a lovely, just flowing shape to it. It's just a beautiful looking knife with a great big belly, enough flat there to do whatever you want. This has been in my pocket for nearly 3 days now. That's unusual for a UKPK. But I love this older model with the blade shape. It's much nicer. The more modern one is a very angular, sort of leaf-shaped, sort of, just, there's no, this has got soul to me. This looks like a knife on the move. I just love it. I absolutely love it. I don't know why I'd never had this version before, because I always was attracted to the shape. But again, screwed construction, so you can take it apart. That's all. These are modern knives because it's screwed construction. And then, and these now, all of these bar one, I have had, these are only about a year old at the most of these. The one I've had has been there much longer, but this is a buck saunter, and this is an S30V, which makes this knife, it's got Boss heat treatment. There you go. It shows you on the back there. Let me just get there. Come on. No, it's not going to view it. Let me just see if I can do this and see if it'll do it. No, it's not going to do it. Sorry. But that's the symbol for Boss Heat Treat, who is a fantastic heat treater that Buck have used for years now. It adds another dimension to whatever blade steel, whether it's 420 or S30V. It gives it, his blade treatment is just fantastic. This is a super little knife. Now, you can see the handle to blade relationship is out on this one, basically. But the nice thing is it's slim, so it doesn't matter. But it's got good girth. And when you hold this in hand, I get a full 4 fingers grip on this. And I have a large hand. The blade is just, it came razor sharp. I'll have to say, Buck are very good at getting their knives out sharp. This is a small blade. And as you can see, this is well below the 3-inch mark. So you probably got about 2.5 inches maybe on the blade. Super, super knife. I really taken with this. It's the first time I'd had one this year. But really fantastic. This is a very modern slip joint with the blade at S30V, plus you have the screwed construction, so you can take it apart, clean it, if that's your wish. I will probably never take them apart, because I don't take any of my traditional slip joints apart, because they're pinned, and there's no need. They last me, you know, forever. There's this obsession, I think, nearly for taking knives apart. Now, the modern knives, I can kind of understand it, to keep your bearings and all that. I think that's what maybe turned me off with these modern knives, that you maybe have to do so much maintenance. I don't see the point. But if you like maintenance, that's the sort of thing you're going to want. The next one is a very modern one, and this is a friction folder. But it's also a slip joint because it doesn't go anywhere. You know, there's no lock. This is done with screws. You tighten the strength of this blade. The pressure that it puts to keep it open or closed is on screwed construction, plus the fact your thumb goes on top of this, which stops it folding down. So it's a different type of slip joint. Just a friction folder. I just wish more people could make a friction folder this good. This is made by Joe in Canada, and he's been on my show. Please look back and see Joe Lapierre, a super CNC machine made blade, but it is absolutely super. And again, you can tighten it up with this slip down so that it's, this is never going to come out in your pocket. It's just not. And I just adore these. Now, there's still a couple, and I mean only a couple, in carbon fibre over on Framear Knives. Please get over there, check them out. There'll be more coming. He's a custom maker, it just takes time. And so if you want one right away, get over there now. There's a couple, and we're talking single figures and, small single figures. So get there now if you want. This is a prototype scale, which I thoroughly enjoy, and I hope he's going to bring this into his collection shortly. Now, what else? Here we go now again, and these these five especially, well, the last six you're going to see are sort of my top knives. I just adore them. They're all carried. This is the Tactile Turn Bear, and this is in MagnaCut. Sorry, yeah, I said S30V, didn't I? Oh, no, sorry. This is 20 CV in this, and a friction folder, which makes it an incredibly good knife. This is in Maximate. This is ultra thin. Look at that. And again, when I put it down, it's under 3 inches, so it's completely UK legal. It's running a back spring, which I must say, I prefer. I'm not keen on double detents. The only double detent I like is when you have the forward choil that they have in this Pilar, which is really good. This one is back spring, great tension on it, but all these you can close one-handed if you need to. You just can't open them one-handed. So really super knife. I thoroughly enjoy that. This was Tactile Turn's first offering to the knife, and it's not perfect, but it's blooming good. Expensive, yeah, of course it is. This is a made in America knife, so you're going to pay that little bit extra for it, but I'm quite happy to, as long as the knife is good. And the second Spyderco is the only one I've got two off down here because I wanted to show this one. This is the little native, just super. This camo carbon or fat carbon, it is stunning. Lovely deep carry pocket clip in this one. They'll not all have clips, but a lot of them will have because they're modern. Again, another thing that gives away a modern knife is a clip. But this one, again, you've got a back spring, nice break in it, but it doesn't even need to be strong because you've got that forward choil which secures it perfectly. Screwed construction, a super, super little box cutter, work knife, whatever you want to call it. Again, a small blade. When I put it up here, it is let me just see, there we go. There we go. It's well under, it's about 2.5 inches long. Your cutting edge is probably about 2 inches, if that, yeah, about 2 inches maybe. But it's perfect. It'll do most things that I ever want to do. Super knife. And now we're getting to the top two. This one will be no surprise. This is the Jack Wolf knife. This just happens to be the newer model. I've got plenty of Jack Wolf knives to put down here, but I just picked, this is the newest one out. Again, Frank at Framear Knives. He has still got a few of these in stock. Get over there. I think this is the only one. There's only one of this one left, this cover material, but there's 5 different materials. And this one also has hand ground satin blade, which I am, as you know, becoming an absolute red light district person. I just love this hand satin. I just think it makes a blade look classy. And I love this modern twist. But again, Jack Wolf are screwed construction. So you can call it a modern interpretation of a traditional knife if you want. I'm just going to call it a slip joint because it's screwed construction that makes it modern. And apart from anything else, this looks more traditional than most of them probably because it's meant to. But as what it is, it's just a modern slip joint. Then call it whatever you like after that. But this is my favourite by far. And I keep saying this, but I haven't been saying it quite so much often. But this is going to be a complete user. It is such a beautiful knife in hand. It has the walk and talk of the... Listen to that. It is just beautiful. A lovely knife. Modern slip joint. Just beautiful. And the biggest, and not the biggest, but the best of them all for me is the Hinderer Slippy. I think this is one of the best designs anybody has ever made for a slip joint knife. Now that's a hell of a statement. And why am I going to say that? Well, these are harder to get now. They don't make them anymore, I believe, or maybe they do, but I haven't seen any brand new ones coming out. This one I have taken to a mirror polish because I use it, but I don't use it a whole lot. I bought this one, as anybody knows my channel, been around a couple of years. When my father passed about 12 years ago, I didn't really have, he wasn't a slip joint person. So I bought this knife and I thought, oh, that's my dad. And I use that sentimentally as when I lift this out, I put a smile on my face because I remember the good times I had with my father. And a knife has the ability for me to do that. And I love this knife. I absolutely adore it. It's got a mirror finish. That's just with stropping that I've done. You know, I sharpened it to a good sharpness, but it's just over the years I have stropped it after use, probably more than I should, but I don't care because I love it on this knife to look really nice. It's such a special knife to me personally. But design, right? There's not many knives, so there you've got a forward choil. I can hold back here if I need a bit of reach, and bearing in mind this is a slip joint, it's only held by the back spring. If I want a bit of reach, but if something went wrong, that's as far as that's going to get. It ain't going to cut me. Now, how many slip joints that you know that have got a forward choil, you can go backwards and it's still not going to get you. Look at that. Still not going to get you. And then the forward choil, obviously it's not going to go anywhere. It's perfectly stable. And I just think to do that and make it as comfortable, like I have a large hand, I can't get it's about 3.5 fingers on that back. So if I need that extra wee bit of reach, I've got it. But most of the time I'm going to do my cutting as close as I can to the blade because control. I like having control over the blade and the fact that if it does go, it ain't going to get stuck in me. I have an aversion to bleeding. And again, this one, if you take it at its full length, is literally 2.9 something inches, which is just fantastic. It's completely legal, no matter what way any policeman looks at it, it's legal. So that's what, now, all slip joints do not have to be legal. We just have a nanny state here that tells us what length we can have a blade at, because if this was a quarter of an inch longer, it would be a huge weapon, but it's not as it is with 3 inches, which is absolute nonsense. So, go figure. There you go. I do love this, and you can adjust this thumb stud, which is a disc which screws on, tightens and loosens. You can move it up and down wherever you want it. But again, it's a one-handed closed knife, which is super. I love this. I mean, this is just FRN, much like Spyderco's FRN. This is their handle. This is G10. This is FRN, but it is beautifully done. Really beautifully done. I'll have to say, I do love it. It's one of my nicest handles that I've got for comfort. It's enough. There's enough roundness on it, and the corners and the edges, that it's not going to cause you any pain. You could work all day with it. And I love this clip. I know it's not deep carry, but it doesn't have to be. This is UK legal, so it doesn't have to be. And I just adore it. My top pick for modern slip joints is the Hinderer Slippy. So I hope you enjoyed that. Those other knives, if you fancy going over to Frank's got 2 of them, or 2 different ones in now, that there's not that many left of. There is knives left, there's no doubt about it. But get over there before they all go, because you'll miss out on some nice knives. And there's the one that started it all, the little tiny Rosecraft blades. I can never remember the name of it. All right, folks, that's my top 10 modern slip joints. And my definition of modern is quite simply screws construction. When there's screws construction, it's modern. There you go, folks. Take care. I'm away. Have a lovely day. Bye now.